Good evening, everybody. Hope you are well. We are going to go and talk about personal branding in a few moments. We're just checking all of the stream is working. So, hello, Grace. Hello, Willie. Hello, Beatrice. Hello, Stephu. Hello, Judith. Hello, GK. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Yuma. Please let us know where you're joining from. I can see Terry's there in the chat. And we've got a great personal branding session, and hopefully you've got the worksheet we sent out to you in your emails as a reminder. So go have a look in your emails, starting it at the 25-minute reminder we sent out 25 minutes ago. There will be this PDF little worksheet or Word worksheet that you can get. You can follow along with this. It's just going to help you as we go through things to clarify what your brand's about, why it matters, all of that stuff. So hi, Susan. Hi, Simon. Simon from Oxford. Hi, Kiran. Hi, Holly. Hi, GK. Welcome. We're going to kick in and start in a couple of seconds. We'll just wait for everything to work and everybody's around. Beatrice is from Spain. Brilliant. And Norbert there is watching on my LinkedIn. So this is the first time we've gone live to my LinkedIn, our LinkedIn company page, and all our social channels at once. So great to have you all here. So if you've not got a copy of this, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, I'm Dean Seddon, and just below this live stream, you'll see the PDF version of this. So if you want to get a copy to kind of work through, just go to my profile. It's below the live stream, Dean Seddon. Go below the live pro, and you can have it. So maybe our techie guys could probably drop the link to the post where the worksheet's into the chats on my LinkedIn, on the company event, and on YouTube, so you can get that. So I'm not going to go through it word for word. I'm going to go through the training, and you can make some notes, and it asks you some questions in here. So Catherine from Vienna, Austria, welcome. David from USA. Graham from Somerset. I nearly did the accent then, Graham. I nearly drifted into the accent. Patricia there from Switzerland. Surrey, Catherine from Surrey. So awesome. So I've got a couple of slides, but what I'd really love is when I do these, obviously I'm staring down the barrel of a camera. So I'm looking at the chat and seeing what you're asking questions. And yes, we're going to drop the link into the chat on YouTube, on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile, and on the live event page as well. So hi, Mariam from Canada. So yes, we'll put the link in here where you can get it. So Susan, if you registered earlier, you can get a copy of this from your email. We sent it to you on email. Chris from Sheffield. But also we're putting the link in the chat wherever you're watching, so you can see it. Yes, Alyssa's just put the link in there as well. I think Alpha, sorry. Hi, Tim. Hi, Dolores. Hi, Michael. It's a busy night tonight here. So as we get started, as we get going, what I want to do is make sure that we touch all the bases, but also that you get to answer and ask all of your questions. So as we go through tonight, if you've got questions, please drop them in the chat. And in our system here, we've got private chat. So if there's any questions that come up, I'll come and answer them, and maybe we'll pop them on screen. So, hey, Tim. If you've never joined one of our sessions before, this isn't like a timeshare thing where we're going to try and twist your arm into selling things. We have a very unique philosophy about how we approach these webinars and live events. So I'm going to give you some thoughts, some ideas to help you build your personal brand. The only thing that we ask is if you've got value from these sessions, go and tell other people, like and comment and follow us and all that stuff. If you get value from this session and want some more, we'll offer you some more free value. And today we've got some help for you with your personal branding. And Beyond that, if you go, Maverick, help me build my personal brand, help me attract clients using personal branding so I do less selling and more attracting the people who I can do business with, then we'd love to help you. But there's no obligation, there's no pressure. What we really want is you to get value and tell the world, and follow and like and all that stuff. That's the deal we have here. So, and Dawn from Hawaii. Uh, Frank Ramirez, a snarky comments welcome too, if you want, but I have a dry sense of humor. So, Frank, go for it. um, okay, so we're going to share my screen now. I'm not going to do death by PowerPoint, but I am just going to do a few slides, and we'll probably spin back to me every now and then. So, um, yes, so here we go. So, if you've never been to any of these sessions before, you're joining Maverick. I'm Dean Seddon, the founder of Maverick. Hi, Chen from Belfast. And Chen, thank you for the likes and comments earlier this week. I really appreciate it. So I founded Maverick, and our mission as a business is to help 1 million businesses grow their revenue, their margin, and their profit. And so these training sessions are part of it, but we also have like paid programs and all that stuff as well. So Hillary, it's starting right now. We're starting right now. So today's session, I'm going to talk through why you need a personal brand, and importantly, what you need your personal brand for. That's really, really important. What do you need your personal brand for? Hi, Jessica. Hi, Grace. Hi, Jennifer. And Hawaiians don't need any help. Awesome, Jeff. So, what do you need your personal brand for? Who will be the audience? And I'm going to talk to you about a fatal mistake a lot of people make about their audience choice and their content or their message, which actually messes it up. And then I'm going to give you 3 simple actions you can do to build your personal brand. And during the session, please do make the most of the worksheets. Write things down. 20%, you'll only retain 20% of what we talk about tonight. 20%. So yes, we'll give you the replay if you want it. Just drop us an email, but actually write things down as you go because you will retain the information. So it's really important. Grace, fire away questions whenever. I'm a Northern British person, so I have a tough skin. In the US, you'd probably call me a New Yorker because they're a little bit brash and abrupt sometimes. Hopefully, I don't offend any New Yorkers there, but generally, uh, that's what people's perception are of New Yorkers. So I'm a Northern Brit, so I'm very similar. Tim, if you scroll through the chat, you'll get a copy of this. There's a link to it. A few people have put it in there, but it's also on my profile too. So things that will go wrong, who will be your audience, what is your message, and then the 3 actions to build your brand in 90 days. Awesome. So, Frank's on it tonight. So, just a little thing, Scott. New Yorkers definitely don't get offended. If you want some more help for free, we will offer you a free personal branding session with our team. There's no sales trick or no sales catch. They'll just go through with you and give you some content tips to help you build your personal brand. They'll give you a checklist, channel guide, so which channel's best for you and which ways are best for you. And they'll help you plan out a 90-day roadmap. So if you want a copy of that, or so if you want that free session, no pressure, you don't have to. There's an email on screen, hi@maverick.io. Just drop them an email and they will book you in for a free personal branding session. Totally free. There's no catch. There's no trick. They'll give you the content tips. They'll give you the checklist. They'll give you the channel guide, and they'll help you with that 90-day roadmap. So, ready? Let's go. So, yes, I'll just put the link for the Google Doc in the chat there. So, please take that down. Make some notes. I'm not going to talk you through this. I'm going to talk you through my slides, and you make your notes on this worksheet. So, what is a personal brand? And there's a whole load of nonsense around personal brands. Simply speaking, a personal brand is about you being known, recognized by an audience for something very specific. Known, recognized by an audience for something specific. And I would argue that what you need to do is spend some time going, first bit, what do you want your personal brand for? So in that section there, you got, do you want more speaking gigs, podcasting? Do you want more clients? Do you want to be recognized? Is it about being recognized for your expertise? What is it you're trying to achieve? I will tell you now, it's so important you understand what you want to achieve, because what often happens when people build a personal brand is it starts out with, actually, I just want to be known. I just want to get PR. I want to be featured in magazines. I want to be featured on podcasts. It starts with, I want to have some recognition. And then it starts to twist to, I want to monetize it. And very often, people go down the route of, oh, recognition, and then try and twist to monetization. You need to be very clear from the outset how you want to benefit from this personal brand. So, for an example, is it you want to sell your expertise? Is it you want to package your expertise, so like digital courses? Is it you want to just get featured and be recognized for your expertise? Or do you want to leverage your personal brand to actually acquire clients for your services or your business? It doesn't matter which one it is, but there's very different angles and a very different message depending on what you want to achieve at the end. So when we come to what do you want to be remembered for, which is question number one, being known, being recognized by an audience for something, most people think of, I want to be recognized as the go-to, the foremost thinker in this. I would encourage you, do not pursue, Grace, I'll come to your question in a moment. Do not pursue trying to be acknowledged by your industry as a leader in this field. That is what we call thought leadership. And actually, it's a tough gig. I'll tell you now, it is a tough gig to establish thought leadership because, and this is a tough one to explain. So maybe I'll come on screen for a little minute just so that we can go through this. Let's say, for an example, I'm going to talk about your personal brand and you using that to establish thought leadership. What is a thought leader? A thought leader is somebody recognized in their field as a top of their game. They are recognized by other people in the same industry as being top of their game. That's why they have such a large platform, because it's not just the fact that they are knowledgeable, it's they are knowledgeable to a level that their industry respects. So that's thought leadership, and that's where your personal brand could take you if you wanted to do that. I've met lots of thought leaders who don't make a lot of money. And I've met lots of thought leaders who do, but they are clear on how they consult or how they make money. Very often, a lot of thought leaders make money by selling their services as speakers, as high level, very expensive consultants, because they are the foremost in the industry. That, as a personal brand piece, is quite difficult to do because you need lots of conventional PR and you need lots of big projects that you can put your name to. Now, there's a different element which is called market leadership. So if you want to build your personal brand for market leadership, that's slightly different. That's about being known as the go-to expert by people who need your help, i.e., people who don't have a level of knowledge and understanding and industry experience. So, for an example, one of the things I teach people to do quite often is package and create their message and translate that into financially viable offers. So I can help people who are struggling to sell their service, their coaching, their consulting, their marketing services, whatever it is, I can help them find a way to position it and craft content and messaging around that because they're struggling with it. But I don't want to be the thought leader where all of the messaging people, all of the offer creation people, all of that, those people look up to me. That would be nice. But my revenue stream is actually from helping people who are struggling with that issue. So, what do you want to be remembered for is really important. Do you want to be remembered as the best person in the industry, which is a big job, and you have to be the best of the best of the best of the best? Market leadership, you have to be better than the people you're helping, which is a different threshold. I'm not saying you're any worse or better, but you have to do a mass PR machine and a mass project machine. You really have to get massive name recognition in your own industry to actually achieve that. Versus if you start to talk to small business owners and show them this, they're not in your industry, you can make a massive difference. So there's a difference between market leadership and thought leadership. I'll give you one more example of this just before uh, Dawn. I'll talk to that in a minute. I've got Grace and Dawn to answer questions to. Apple in 2009, when Apple launched their first phone, they had no market leadership and no industry leadership at all. They launched their phone and launched it, and the market loved it. Absolutely loved it. They innovated a phone, and the market loved it. So Apple became the number one phone seller in the world by taking market leadership. They didn't attempt to influence the industry. They didn't attempt to change the industry. They didn't attempt all of that stuff. They just went out and did their phone. I'm sure they did all the learning and everything like that. They became the industry leader by becoming the market leader. So if you try and pursue the thought leadership piece, you have to make massive impact. But if you just go and impact your market, your client base, and be seen for them as the go-to expert, build your personal brand with them, you end up where they give you the platform. I'll give you one more example. You look on LinkedIn, right? There's lots of people who are creating content and posting content. I see this a lot in the marketing world, to be fair, where they're actually posting content that their customers don't give a rip about. Don't give a rip about, I nearly swore then. Don't give a rip about at all. And you look at all the comments and it's other people like them. Think about who this message is for. What do you want to be remembered by? Because a market leader, a brand, personal brand that's trying to attract clients and use it to generate revenue, is appealing to people who have a problem that need to be solved. A problem that needs to be solved. A thought leader is very often helping people see a new way forward. Similar, but different. So you want to be remembered by your clients for the solution. You are the solution to a very specific problem. People buy solutions to problems. And so your personal brand should be very much aligned to the problem you solve. You have to show people that you are the go-to person to solve that problem. So let me ask you, what is the problem? What is the problem that you solve? Because that's what you should be known for. That's what you should be known for. So Dawn said, I'm not an attention seeker. How does this work? None of us want to be an attention seeker, but in this day and age, we have to stand out and we have to put ourselves out there to get the attention of our audience. So it's really important that we kind of overcome some of our personal hang-ups. I have a face for radio. Yep, I have a face for radio. I am not six-pack, perfect hair kind of person. But I put myself out there because irrespective of whether I've got the six pack and they push the cup, what do they call it? Where you know what I mean? Um, I want to be known for helping people solve specific problems. And I have to put myself out there, show my expertise, even sometimes when I don't feel like it, because this is the way the world is. There is a generation below me or generations below me um, who have been born with the fact that you put yourself out there. I'm from a generation where we grew up with the internet just, and so it's all, I'm kind of straddling two worlds. But there's a generation below us that will think nothing of going on TikTok and going on there and going on these different places and just putting themselves out there with no hang-ups whatsoever. Whereas we have, or I have, those kind of hang-ups and feel like, oh, was that okay? And some of them just don't care. So I'm not saying you have to just do crazy things to appeal to people, but you do have to put yourself out there, show your expertise. And Dawn, to answer your question, you don't have to pose like you're going on The Apprentice or pose like you're going on Shark Tank or do any of that stuff, but you do have to show your expertise and you do have to show your face every now and then. So we are in this weird scenario where there's a generation below us who are not ashamed to put themselves out there, to front things out. And if we're in that culture where that's seen as something you must do. Do you have to put something out every day? Do you have to be beyond yourself? Do you have to over exaggerate? No, you can just be yourself. So when I come on and do these lives, this is part of my personal branding. I'm sharing prolifically value to help you. Why? Because some of you are going to go away. Not everybody. Some people will go away and never remember me ever again. But some of you go, he's got something about him. He's useful. And you'll remember it. And maybe you see a post on LinkedIn and you tag me in it because you say, Dean could help you. Or maybe you need help and you reach out to me. That's what personal branding is. Remembering a person for a specific set of problems that that they can help you with. So you don't have to go all slick. Branding is more than how things look. It's 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 how you make people feel. It's what they remember. It's not necessarily how you look, it's what they remember. So you don't have to do all these slick social media posts. It could be you just sharing thoughts and ideas in a rough and ready way. People will buy into you and then they buy from you. People buy into you, then they buy from you. And that is what a personal brand is. We're kind of racing down here. So let me just jump into some questions a minute. So, what is the best way to build a brand if you are in a role where you're not happy with? Oh, wow. So one of the best ways I would find that um, is ooh, I would look at, Kimberly, what's the role you really want? What's the role you really want? And position yourself for that. So if you're on LinkedIn, and your question was on LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn, where do you want to be? And start talking into that place. I'm not saying fake it till you make it. What I'm saying is, if you're in architecture and you actually want to be an engineer, start talking about engineering stuff. Start saying the things that matter to you and that you're passionate about. But think about it, for you to have a recognizable brand, people have to remember you for what you solve. What's the picture that you want to paint? And oh, the link's not clicking. How strange. Oh, that's because Terry's posting it, maybe. Um, so that's the first thing. So, yes, what I would do is start talking about the topics that really matter to you. And here's a simple exercise. Before we go any further, the third point on the worksheet is How are you going to monetize your brand? In other words, how is it going to pay for itself? What does the payoff look like? In other words, is it speaking gigs? Is it podcasts? Is it you want to be featured in magazines? Is it newspaper columns? Is it commentary on television? Is it clients? Is it you want to sell and package your services? You need to pick and write this down, because you will be sorely disappointed if you don't write it down and you get 6 months down the line and you realize, actually, I wanted to actually make money from clients using me. I wanted to do that, but actually what I've done is I've pursued television coverage. Tell you now, television coverage, unless it's sustained television coverage, will not get you clients. I've done TV and I've done sporadic TV, and I can tell you that unless you're consistently on TV in interviews or consistently in newspaper columns, it will not get you clients. It will get you into restaurants faster. It will get you into podcasts. Um, it will get you into other interviews, but it will not get you clients quickly. So don't deceive yourself. Write down what you want out of it. If you want consistent television interviews, if you want to be featured on TV, write that down. You don't have to justify why you want something. Some of us just want things because we want things. You just write it down, but don't deceive yourself. Because if you want to make money from a clients, people hiring you, you should know that from the outset and go, okay, what am I going to do that helps that? Because sometimes what we do is think TV or podcasts and all these things are going to change it and make it happen. And they won't in the short term. You might be going for years doing podcasts and TV interviews to actually get to the point where you catch fire. So Alice has asked the question, which one is more effective? Shall I think about it too? E.g., write a blog or make a video? Oh, which is more effective, write a blog or a video? Right. So I would say I do both. So I write blogs and I do video. I would say that a blog has the opportunity to get in front of more people without any effort from you, the SEO piece and all that kind of stuff. But a video might need more pushing. In other words, you might have to do more work to get it out there. But actually, when people spend time watching that video, it cements your personal brand more. So if I read a blog one day, I don't necessarily remember the author. I don't remember any of that stuff unless I read lots of blogs from you and I start to get into reading your content. But a video can make an impact straight away. That's why I do these sessions. Yep. Because I can talk to you and we can have a back and forth through the chat and everything. And some of you will come onto this and go, that Dean, he's not my cup of tea. And that's fine. But some of you go, I really like the way Dean explains things. I'll stick around. I'll follow him on LinkedIn. I'll follow his YouTube and things like that. So video creates a deeper connection. But it doesn't generally, unless you go viral on YouTube, it doesn't go as far. So a video, you could build your brand with 200 people with one video. But a blog gets it out there, but you need a lot more to get out there, whereas a video could work for you for quite a while. So Connor, I have so many ideas of what I want to do with a side business regarding content creation, e-commerce. Wow. But I do not know where to start or how to choose one to begin with. How do I generate the most efficient path of action towards branding myself when I have several interests? How do I choose the best one to start with that will give me the best chance of success? So Connor, if you're going to monetize it, what you need to do is really think about, like you said, which one first. I would think about what's the path to revenue. What's the path to revenue? And this actually leads me. I've totally detoured from slides tonight, but thankfully I know the topic. This actually leads me to what I've called, who is your 20K crowd, right? Now, I'm not saying you need 20,000 followers. I am absolutely not saying you need that. But what I would say to you is a sense check. So this will be useful for you, Connor. And um, Aaron's just said some of the best performing posts are personal based, just about something I've been up to. How do you tie that into your business? Right, I'll talk to you. I'll come to that in a minute, Aaron. In fact, no, I'll deal with it now just before going to the 20K crowd. Aaron, one of the things that really, really is fascinating is people will engage with you because it's personal. That's something that a lot of people on LinkedIn struggle with. They struggle to get their heads around, why should I do that? Doing the personal stuff that makes you visible. What you can do is mix that up and go, actually, I'm going to do a picture of myself. I'm going to talk about a business centric topic. Or I'm now going to do a video, say how my week's going, and then share a little bit more. Yeah. So personal is what builds the connection. And so some people who build that connection with you will pay attention. And this is where we come to building your audience in the right way, which is who is your 20K crowd? So on the worksheet, you'll see it in the chat. We're only here, by the way. We're kind of halfway through and we're only here. So um, if we run out of time, you can all have a free branding session, and I'll put the link on the slides in a second. So who's your 20K crowd? I'm not talking here about you needing a 20K following. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying here is, can you identify a group of people that has at least 20,000 people? I.e., make sure your personal brand serves an audience. And Connor, this is going to answer your question. Make sure your personal brand, to start out with, has at least an audience of 20,000 people. So if I was looking, Connor said earlier about yoga. Let's say I was looking for, excuse me, let's say I was looking for yoga practitioners. I would have to go, can I find 20,000 of them somewhere? So on LinkedIn, I could I find them on Facebook? All of those things. In other words, is there 20,000 people I can influence? If it's a yes, you don't need to go get them all. But what I'm saying is the market big enough to support my personal brand? Is the market big enough to support my personal brand? If there's 20,000 of them, yes, you can. The second thing about this is, what's the problem that this audience has? What's the problem that this 20K crowd has that you want to be known as the solver of that problem? You want to be known as the go-to person if people have that issue. And that's really important that you write that down. If I'm looking for yoga professionals, what's the go-to problem that they need me? And I would think about picking a problem that's obviously common and that's maybe recurring. A recurring problem or a consistent problem across an industry is mammoth. So you're picking this, and Connor, hopefully this helps. Pick an industry, one that's got at least a 20K crowd. Pick a problem that you know is common and persistent, that you want to identify yourself as the go-to person to fix it. What other identifying characteristics are in that group of people? But I'm also going to add one more thing in this. Can you find them easily on a digital channel? Can you find them easily on a digital channel? I recently was talking to somebody on one of a personal branding session, a strategy session, if you will. We do a lot of them for free for businesses. Well, if you give us a review. And I was on a strategy session with a business, and they basically said to me, we want to reach people whose companies have reached 10 years old. So their business is 10 years old, and we want to talk to them about the next decade. 10 years old and the next decade. And I want to build my personal brand around helping people who've got a company that's 10 years old go for a decade of transformation and growth, a golden decade. I think they use this phrase. So this sounds like a really exciting idea. I was like, yeah, I can see that. They've got 10 years under their belt, and now they want to make this the next 10 years the best ever. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? Tell me how you can find easily and accessible across social media companies and business owners who've been in business for 10 years. Can you find them? You actually can, kind of, but it's not perfect. But it's very difficult to find people with that message. Though it's actually easier. It's actually easier to build a personal brand where you help CEOs called Steve grow their business. That's an easier group of people to find, CEOs called Steve on social media, than it is 10-year-old companies. So yeah, Susan, a Google search, you could find that, and Simon, yes, Company's House. But how do you influence them? How do you get in front of them consistently? What magazine can you get into where their business owner's called Steve, or what business? Well, you could do that on LinkedIn, but where you can grow a network, you can influence people who've got a business that's 10 years old. You can't do that in a way that's easily accessible. Mums who love yoga, you can do that easily on Facebook. Yeah, organic, not ads. You can find mums who love yoga really easily. So what I'm saying is go one step further. Is there a 20K audience? And can you find that audience easily on a digital channel that you can influence? Or if you want to go old school, is there a magazine, a journal, a trade shows, consistency? How do you get in front of them consistently? So you need to think about companies. So Sean's there. Susan's got a good one there. Growth company by 2.5 million. Yeah, if you wanted to target companies who are going from 500,000 to 1 million, that's easy. Or 5 million to 10 million, or trying to get to the first million. And you wanted to build a personal brand about how you give people expertise, and if somebody's struggling to scale that business, you can get them from wherever they are to their first million. You can build that brand. You can do that on LinkedIn any day. You can find those people. But trying to find companies that are 10 years old that is very, very tricky. It's not impossible, but it's a bit hit and miss. Mums who love yoga, you can find that. HR managers, you can find that. HR managers in the tech sector, you can find that. People who love sci-fi, you can find that. So you can find all of these things organically online, but you need to go, is there 20,000 of them? Because that will support my brand if I want to make money from it. So let's say I was packaging my expertise into a digital course, and there's a minimum market size of 20,000, and I want to sell 100 courses or 100 programs or 100 of something. There's enough of a market to support it. So that's why I'm saying, is the market easy? Why make your job harder trying to build a personal brand with people you can't reach? Think about it like that. So Connor, I hope that is helpful. And yeah, it's the key. Yes, Sales Navigator will help you do a lot of that. But there's some things that are very difficult. So let me just flick back to my slides. I'll have to kind of flick through because we've gone a bit faster. So you need a personal brand to build the trust and credibility. If you don't want to sell and you don't want to be a pushy salesperson, then actually personal branding will help you build that credibility before you outreach, or it will encourage people to come to you. One of the great things about building a personal brand is it differentiates you from the crowd. Why? Because you do it your way. And this is really important. Lots of people think that they have to do it like other people. You can do your personal brand any way you choose. But be aware that if you polarize people, so if you become too outlandish, you can use humor to build a personal brand, and you can use controversy to build a personal brand. You'll actually, humor and controversy will actually build your personal brand faster. But for every fan or every couple of fans, you'll make an enemy. So you divide people faster. But it is a quick way to do it. But I would caution you, as we've seen with people like Andrew Tate, what happens is you can build a groundswell of people who absolutely despise you, which does elevate you, but actually it can bite you in the bum too. So you being you, this is the greatest relief you're going to have in your whole life. You being you and doing it your way will differentiate you. You know, there are other people who do the same or similar things to me, but they're not me and they're not doing it my way. They're doing it their way. And some people will resonate with their way, which is their way of doing it and their personality and who they are. And some people will resonate with me and the way I do it. So be yourself, set yourself free. Stop trying to be like everybody else. If you want to be a world class coach to business owners, you do not need to copy Tony Robbins. You can do it your way, in your style, with your flair and your personality. And that way, what happens, and I hate saying it in this way, but you build your tribe. Now, tribe is an unfamiliar word these days, but people who resonate with your message in your way, you get their vibe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Who you are attracts people who resonate with you. And so the more you try to blend in, the more you try to model yourself against somebody else because you think that's what you need to be, the more you do that, the more vanilla you become and the less of a vibe you put out that attracts people. So what happens is, and it's cheesy, Tim Johnson's put it there, 1,000 true fans and you've got a brilliant business. Absolutely true. 1,000 people who absolutely love you, you've got an amazing business. And actually, if you look at on most social media platforms, if you want to go viral, you don't need 1,000 people. You need 150 to maybe 100 to 150 people. And for most of you here to really blow things up for you, you actually need about 25 people who are die-hard fans. 25 people would do it. So think about this. If you could mobilize and really invest in 25 people who really get you, love what you do, love to share your stuff, like and comment and watch every video, you could not blow up in the sense of millions, but thousands of people would see you on an ongoing basis because you've mobilized 25 people who absolutely love you. So if your brand's in the early stages, don't think about spending hours and hours making social media shareables with you posing and getting photo shoots and all this stuff and paying for articles in magazines. Go deep with 25, 30 people and build 25, 30 people who absolutely love what you do. Add so much value into their world that they become ambassadors. And your posts, your content, everything will start to rise because they will help you do it. We call this DIYers. There's three groups of people in this world. There's DIYers, there's triers, and there's buyers. Most people get resentful of the DIYers, but actually every YouTuber on this planet knows that the DIYers make them their money. They like, they comment, they watch, they share, and they give them the traction that other people, triers, people who want to do it themselves but struggle, and then they come back and buy their course, buy their coaching program, buy their consulting service, buy their marketing because they need their help. And then there's the other people waiting in the wings, and they're just watching all this stuff. They're the buyers, and they just swoop in. And you have no idea why that happened. It happened because the DIYers have been amplifying you and making you visible to people you don't know. So 25 people could be all that's separating you from really getting traction. 25 people who really you need to invest in and value and over deliver for so that they feel compelled to support your mission. And this is a mission you're on. Yeah. Yes, you want to make money, you want to monetize it, but you're on a mission, and that passion has to come out. That reservedness that I had a couple of years ago has completely gone because I'm like passionate about stuff. I know how difficult it is to build a business. The first business, if you watch my live this morning, the first business I built was a disaster, and I struggled, and it emotionally killed, wrecked me at the time. I didn't want to say killed me because it didn't, obviously. But it was awful. It was difficult, and I devoted pretty much my life to helping people get customers since. And so it's a mission for me. That's why our Mavericks mission help 1 million businesses. So this is your mission. And when people connect with your mission, they love it. People can spot the people who are just trying to make money and the people who really believe something. And you've got to project that. Uh, so let's, big question, big comment here from, sorry, the screen, Tanim. It's understand if the ball somebody wants to build people by dividing and conquer. Yeah, yeah. So divide and conquer is obviously a very, very powerful tool, but it can be dangerous because it makes enemies, and so you have to have a very thick skin. So I would encourage you to be very careful about that. Um, I'm just reading the question here. Yeah, so that connection becomes everything if you're going to build a personal brand. It's not about being slick. It's about building connection. And when people connect who you are with the cause that you're on, and the cause, my cause, is to help businesses get clients because I know that when businesses thrive, they employ more people, they give opportunities to other people, and they make people's lives better. Now, I know that sounds really bad because in this modern times, we think of companies as being greedy, we think of them being exploitative, but I don't see it that way at all. I want to make everybody and help everybody do well. And I know that if businesses do well, they employ more people, which give people more opportunities. So that's why I'm passionate about what I do. I'm getting lost in the slides here. So, next slide quickly, because I've only got 12 minutes left. What do you want it for? Which we've discussed. What's the goals you want? What's the revenue streams you want out of it? That's the byproduct of the brand. It's not the core. It's not the cause of the brand. The cause of the brand is what do you want to be known for? Helping people. How do you want to transform people's lives, businesses, what have you? That's what you want to be known for. And then how you monetize it is the fruit, the outcome of a successful personal brand. But you got to know what you want out of it first. How are you going to monetize it so you build the brand in the right way? We talked about industry versus market. The other thing I want to share here, I don't have it to hand, but we have a free resource called the Audience Value Proposition. This will help you and our team on our free strategy session. I'm going to share it in a moment. Will go through and tell you about the audience value proposition. It helps you find that resonant message that will punch through, that you can almost use as an evangelist, as a cause, as a champion, so that it speaks to people and you can identify, I help people do this. And this is my personal brand. This is the pillar of my personal brand. This is my core message to the world. And this is how I'm going to monetize it. So if you want a copy of it, I'll put the email address is actually on screen now. So if you have a look at the email, we've got a free personal branding session you can join. Our team will give you some content tips. They'll take you through the AVP. They'll give you a bit of an action checklist, in other words, to-do list. Talk to you through some of the channels. So where's a good place to build your personal brand? There's so many different people. People say, oh no, YouTube, oh no, TikTok, oh no, Instagram, oh no, LinkedIn, oh no, this, oh no, that. Which is best for you? Where's that 20K crowd that you know you can get in front of, that you know you can build and reach? So if you want to have that free session, there's no obligation, there's no timeshare. We're not going to sell you a holiday villa in Spain that you can go to once a week for 10 years. That's not how we roll. We roll is we give you more value, you become our fans. You go review, you like, you comment, you share, you recommend, and some of you will go, actually, I need the help. That's how we roll. So our job is to over deliver and do that. Which channels will you use? So roadmap. In other words, where's your audience? Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it newspapers? Is it magazines? Is it events? Which is it? Podcasts. Which one have you got? And how much time can you throw at this realistically? Because let me be honest, you are not going to build a personal brand in a week, making social media posts, going all out, and then next week forgetting about it. This is a long-term strategy because you are building name recognition in the whole marketplace. You're trying to do that thing where when people think of your name, they associate it with the problem it solves. Hoover. Yeah. So this is not a weak strategy. This is something you're going to have to invest in for 18 months. I'm not saying you won't see payoff in 18 months. I'm saying to really get full traction and be known for it, it's going to take you 18 months of plowing the ground. But the payoff is you will get people coming to you because they've heard about you, they know you, somebody's recommended you, somebody's suggested you, you've been tagged in a post, they saw you at this event, they heard you on this podcast, they saw you on YouTube, they've seen you on LinkedIn a few times. That's what happens. But it's not do a week's worth, do a photo shoot for a week, blast out a load of social media posts, and it's done. This is you banging a drum, consistent messaging, consistent content, repeating some of the same messages over and over again. And people go, that Dean, he does that. That's the power of personal branding. It's not that you get slick shareables of you in a posh, fancy outfit. It's you being known and remembered. And that's more about how you make people feel. And it's more about the connection than any photo shoot. I know that's not very controversial. It's controversial to say when we live in a very image conscious world these days, and a very superficial world. But actually, if you're not six pack and blonde locks that you can put your fingers through, whatever it is you do, you have to be about the substance and the cause and the mission. Frank, where's the graph that shows personal branding? Actually, there's a whole study called The Long and Short of It, done by Peter Fielding and Les Binnett. It was published in 2019, I believe. It's called The Long and Short of It. It's about 72 pages, and it talks about the difference between short-term activation and long-term brand building. And it shows that in the first, actually 6 to 9 months, activation, in other words, things to actually sell things take off better. But actually, if you want to build a brand and attract business, attract clients, it's over that 6 to 9 months where you start to see the real benefit. So brand building is proven. You go to the Drum, you go to the Chartered Institute of Marketing, you go to any of these, they'll tell you brand building in the long term is the big payoff. That's why Coca-Cola, you never see a sale for Coca-Cola. They focus on pumping one clear message out consistently. So Frank, go check out The Long and Short of It by Les Binnett and Peter Fielding. All the data is in there. I sometimes use their graph in my webinars, but go check it out. Long and Short of It, Peter Fielding and Les Binnett. Brilliant study, brilliant research. Shows you in the long term, the people who win do something called brand activation, which is building a brand that attracts people who want to buy. Perfect. So, where are we? Students as your clients. What is the best way to reach students as your clients? So, Tudor, what I would look at, it depends on which territory you're looking at, geography and all that kind of stuff. But what I would do is look at forums. So, you've got Reddit, you've got Facebook a little bit. But if you want to consistently find students, it depends on what the interest is and what have you. But you are talking about, generally, you're talking about TikTok and places like that where there's a younger demographic that's more easily accessible. And of course, on TikTok, you've got hashtags and SEO, so you can reach people based on the keyword student. So that's a really interesting and good way to do it. So TikTok and those kind of territories is probably your best bet. Of course, on LinkedIn, you can find students, but to be fair, and you probably will find plenty of them, but there's probably not. Um, Connor, I'll come to your question in a second. So there's probably a difference between um, students on LinkedIn versus student on TikTok. There will be plenty of them on LinkedIn, but not as many on TikTok. So the question then is the trade-off of certainty in being able to find them versus volume. So I'd just go to Sales Navigator, have a look and see if it's worth it. If not, it would be TikTok. So yes, so different forms of monetizing once you've established. So the first one is you've got the ebooks, Connor. So you could give people information. So there's information, monetizing of information. There's monetizing of basically. So in other words, you tell people about something, teach people about something. So show them how to do something, and then there's help them do something. So there's basically do it yourself, do it do it for you, and do it with you. So there's basically only three real ways to do it: do it yourself, somebody does it for you, or somebody do it with you. So if you think about it, it's like information, it's like a course or education, it's a service that you provide, and then it's, of course, we'll do it together like coaching, mentoring, or fractional support, like fractional CMO or what have you. Generally, if you're trying to sell expertise and you're not selling physical things, that's it. One of the things that a lot of people do is write books. If you put them on Amazon, that's like information. But again, if you don't have a groundswell of support, you'll need to get traction. And so books can be useful. I use them. I write some small books and I give them away rather than trying to write one book. And I will write a full proper book, if you know what I mean, one day. But that means traction because you don't want to write a book and spend ages putting your effort into something and then sell, 10 copies and 5 of them were bought by your mum. So I do lots of little books and give them away. So when we go to an event, we host events every month. We'll take a book and we'll give it away. Things like that is a good one. That's the one, Frank. That's the one. That's the one. It's quite a chunky document. I've got a summary of it that I can't remember where I've got it, but if anybody wants to drop me an email, I've got the summary slides from the presentation when they released it. So, yes. Anyway, let's jog on. So, attention. How will you get it and how will you hold it? What's the things that are going to keep people in your world and you're going to keep adding value? How do you get the people with attention? So things like this could be useful to you where you do videos and presentations and help people. But then how do you hold it? How do you nurture those people? So things like building an email list of people who resonate with your message can be useful. So I would encourage, yeah, it's Willie, the long and short of it is it's a big study. It was a big study. So it's not a little overnight light neat reading. It's heavy duty stuff. But I have got a summary of it. If anybody wants it, I'll send you the PDF. It was a presentation of the key findings, and I've got the PDF of the slides. I don't think there's any copyright because it is their stuff. It's not mine or anything, but it is their stuff. Yes, so Les and Peter are brilliant guys. They've done an amazing job with it. So I would think about if you're going to get their attention of that audience, how do you hold it? Build an email list. Build an email list. Really important. What's your plan for results? We're going to run out of time here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop because I'm going to run out of time. If anybody's got any more questions, I'll hang on. Remember the worksheet. Hopefully we've gone through quite a lot. I mean, we have touched quite a lot. Maybe I shouldn't have took so many questions so soon so we could get through everything. But, I'm learning because I'm in a new setup and it's all a bit strange today. But If you didn't get the worksheet, just drop us a line. But if you want that personal branding session for free, there's no cost implied, no timeshare. I'll put the email on screen and everything so you can see it. So it's there. So on screen, you'll see the personal branding session. If you want to take us up on it, there's no pressure from us. It's there. This is what we'll do with you. So we'll say, what do you want to be known by? Look at some content tips to get you going, give you some things to take action, help you sense check which channel. You have to pick at the end of the day which channel you want to build your brand on, which of all of the different ones. It might be you want to build it offline. I did very well in the early days, by the way, and I still love doing it, of doing events in person and giving free talks in person. And that's a brilliant way to do it. You might choose that. Um, and then you need 3 months worth of action. So the first things first. So in the Susan, in the worksheet, you've got first of all, you've identified your 20K audience. Number one. So on the checklist at the back, I've got. Can you find them easily on social media? Because that's obviously an easy channel to go for. Then, are you consistently posting on social media with your core message? In other words, what you want to be known for. If you help people get clients without cold outreach, how are you posting content about that and showing your expertise? How are you growing your followers on that network, on that channel? Number one. Number two, are you interacting with people to build that community? You remember that 25 people? How are you going to build that 25 people? Set that challenge. I've got to find 25 people who love what I do, and I've got to massively over deliver value to them. Do I give them free coaching sessions? Do I share more content with them? How do I help those 25 people who are going to be my ambassadors, who are going to be my fan base, to amplify my message? Do I want to get onto podcasts? Is a podcast useful to me? Does somebody else have an audience, my audience, on their podcast that I could maybe pitch? I don't mean pitch as in sales pitch, but say there's a podcast for yoga instructors. Okay, what can I do? What can I add value without looking like I'm trying to sell to people? How can I pitch to the podcaster? Hey, if I came on as a guest, I could add this value. And you could do that. You could reach out to people in that way. Um, so then about consistency, is the content that you're putting out consistent in terms of message, in color, in flavor, in style, or are you trying to copy other people? So the brand building section here, Susan, is useful for you. And then the fan creating stuff is all about how am I helping them see the expertise in a live setting, so in a live video or a Zoom call or what have you. What resources am I creating to give away to help people? And then on the monetization side, obviously, am I making it clear the way I work with people? In other words, do people know the difference I can make? In other words, do people know I can sell a course, or do they not? Are they not? Is it not clear? Is it clear that if people want more of my help, this is how I help them? Am I providing ways that people can taste the value, sample the value, free coaching sessions? All of this stuff in the early days of building a personal brand, you have to do a lot of groundwork in helping people, coaching, giving value, tons of value to establish your place in their world, to establish your place in their minds. And then, of course, you need to build an email list. And why would somebody want to sign up for your email list? Why? Because they've got something that you've bottled something that they want. You know something, they've attached themselves to you and your personality and the way you do things that makes them go, I don't want to miss out on those emails. I don't want to miss out on that stuff. So on the back there is some actions that you can do, and it gives you some clarity on things. Not all of these are going to apply, but some of them will. And some of them you just need to focus on one or two of these. And it may well be you go, actually, it's about monetizing. So I'm going to do a taster session for my coaching, and I'm going to provide people with loads of value by posting content, and I'm going to engage with 10 to 20 people on a regular basis to build up that 25 people who love what I do. So hopefully that is helpful. Please do, if you want to take one of those free sessions, just drop us an email. Connor, I'm glad it was helpful. Alyssa, thank you. Desaria, yes. Phil, thank you. I'm going to sign off in a minute. Hi, Jessica. Thank you so much. Dolores, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully this has been helpful. Again, if you want the free strategy session, it's yours. Take it or leave it. And thank you for all your questions. Remember, all that stuff that seems superficial and insignificant, but actually can really help. So if you can like, follow, comment, subscribe. Have I missed anything? I don't think so. Thank you so much for joining us. And Frank, thank you again. And I'm back in 2 weeks' time for another live session. This is the first one in the new setup, so thank you so much. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for another live session.
Dean's strategy helped me find clients. I created clients for my business with this program. It works.
My connections have grown, my reach has grown, my views have grown, and actually so has my business revenue. Over that 3-month period, I have actually signed up 3 new clients at a cost of £50,000. That's over just the 3-month period. So it's worth it.
Every single time there's a session, I just feel like it's just a golden moment. Every single session brings me something really new and really valuable, and I've started to attract high value client sales, which is wonderful, and it's really given our business a boost.
Dean Seddon and the Maverick team, what can I say? Apart from absolutely awesome.
The results have been amazing. We have had loads of incoming leads coming into our lead funnels and workflow processes on our website, and we've also built a really successful community around the content that we produce and push out into our LinkedIn channels. My team has also learned a lot from working with the team at Maverick, and they've also helped us really create fantastic events on LinkedIn.
I'm much more confident, and all of that, without a shadow of a doubt, is down to the work and the training and support I've had from Dean and the rest of his team as part of the Accelerator course.
In terms of the training, Maverick have been absolutely fantastic. They've been so supportive. They've talked me through all the stages of what you have to do, why you have to do it, the benefits of doing it the way they tell us to do it. And I've gone from being with no social media to being actually addicted, because I can see what this can do for lead generation, generating new business. It's just been incredible, and Maverick have been superb throughout the whole process.
The guys at Maverick, they've been great. Dean and his team, very knowledgeable, wealth of experience, and we've had quite a few one-to-ones now that really taught us the depths, the nooks and crannies of LinkedIn, which none of us would have known before, and I think we can continue to use that going forward. And it's been great so far, and I hope to continue to use it as well.